My name is Roger Gilbert. On behalf of Zheng Chang Group, it's my pleasure to give a speech here. Topics I my lecture is the analysis of pattern process technology of Zheng Chang of the field. Since 1980s, our industry began to use the feed, and when it developed in the 1990s, the feed effect increased sharply. After around 30 years development, so the creep feed has been the main feed in our feed industry. Today, I would like to talk about the formula on the in view of nutrition of the creep feed. Here, I would like to clarify the concept. The creep feed we call means two aspects. First is supplementary feed before weaning, and the second is the replacer after weaning. As a good feed, its effect will be embodied in the three aspects. First is growing fast, no diarrhea. Second is the full nutrition with low costs, and the third is the feed intake. Key factor is the piglet can freely to intake feed. As an ideal creep feed, its effect will be embodied in four aspects. The first factor is the weaning index. The second is the full training of digestive tract. And the third is the low weaning stress. And the fourth is the following up effect. For example, if we consider the 20 days old piglet, after weaning, its body weight should be 6.5 kilograms. And normally, the total intake before weaning, the feed intake is 525 grams. And after weaning, within 10 days, its daily increasement of weight is more than 280 grams. And if we use this kind of feed rate, as a following up effect will be ideal. For example, for the 9 weeks old of piglet, its body weight is about 25 kilograms. The important factor for this creep feed is the feed intake. We did some experiments. For example, this slide shows the 27 days old of piglet before its weaning and after weaning. Comparison is the feed intake. The benefit can be lasted 12 days to 33 days after weaning. Following this trend, the pig get mature is 1 week or 10 days in advance. So normally, weaning index is very important for creep feed. And if we take we need to have good feed intake. Normally, it should be the daily weight should be increased more than 280 grams. And if the feed intake is not enough, the piglet will be hungry and later will result in disease or something. We think if we want to make a good feed, we should consider there's a combination of the formula and the feeder and also the factory. So the formula should be take advantage of various kind of raw materials to make a good formula. And through our feed factory, we can process the good feed. And finally, is the farmers use this feed scientifically and to make the good result of feed. Here, I'd like to talk about how to process the creep feed. Before the green feed appeared, normally we use the powder feed as a main feed. After we realized the importance of curing, so we try to explore a good process to make the creep feed. We extend the period of conditioning. We adjusted it from 1 week to 2 weeks or extended the period. So when the length of condition increased, the time of conditioning increased, and then the grain in the packing machine will stay longer time. And there are some benefits. For example, the alpha chemicalization will increase, and the sterilization ratio will increase from 4% to 10%. However, there is another by effect that means the vitamin broken rate from 8% to around 30%. So the current condition, mechanism is not ideal, and also its deuterization effect is so-so. But the most important effect is the vitamin broken rate is very high. So we think the current condition of pellet meal can only be used to produce ordinary feed, but cannot be used to produce high quality feed. Typical formula of high quality cricket feed, because it is on this list there's some raw materials. We can see over 70% of ingredients containing anti-nutritional factors, and over 22% raw materials are containing heat-sensitive material. And also there are about 75% of ingredients. We must pay attention to its hygiene. So we have, based on the above formula, we should consider how to remove anti-nutritional factors of raw materials. For the cricket feed, we can see the anti-nutrition factors including corn, soybean meal, vaccine, inhibitor, etc. How to remove it? We can use the physical ways or chemical ways. The chemical ways to remove the anti-nutrition factors. We did this experiment in our laboratory, and we use this way to we can remove 85% of anti-nutrition factors. And another anti-nutrition factors such as the casein, phytolysin, sugar, etc. be removed. And the second aspect is we have to consider how to improve the quality of the feed. And we can see moisture heat treatment kills more intake of vaccine and some dry heat method in the traditional conditions. And the third technical requirement is how to maintain the activity of functional materials. For example, we can add some exogenous digestive enzyme to improve the utilization rate of feed. And the second aspect is to add some probiotics. For example, we feed some the live bacteria into the feed. For example, the lactic acid bacteria and the illness and bacillus, etc. However, this kind of acid bacteria will be lost during the condition. And also, we, as I mentioned before, we should consider the vitamin broken rate. So, in our experiment, we found such materials as IgA in plasma gluten is cannot endure high heat. Another thing is, for example, the lactose, glucose does not endure the high temperature. For the fourth technical requirement is how to enhance the feed utilization rate. We can use appropriate cooking method to improve feed utilization rate. Normally, we can use to control the cooking degree. In example, for the corn or soybean. The fifth technical requirement is how to improve the feed palatability. And the sixth requirement is how to choose the best shake pattern. Traditionally, most people think the quality of pellet feed is closely related to hardness. However, after our experiment, we see the preference of soft pellet feed. This we will not talk about the advantage of the pellet feed comparing. In our previous experiment, we found that the powder feed is not suitable. On the process technology, we choose the expansion. Also, we choose best way of cooking. Expansion is the most efficient heat treatment method in common use. Materials, energy, and momentum will get strongly interfere the expansion process. We can see the negative effect of excessive cooking. And also for the starch, if the starch is excessive cooked, maybe there are another byproducts produced. And it also will affect, it's easy to generate raw, resistant, and modified proteins. And also the equipment going to wear down, and there will be more production. This slide shows the preservation of protein and nutrition features in expansion heat treatment. The nucleotide enzyme will get inactivated in the expansion process, which can prevent fat from decompensation of free fatty acid. This slide shows the expansion effect. We can see the lysine and that will have some stability in the expansion process. The cooking with expansion way compared to the ordinary way, how to digest the digestion of crude feed improvement. Nutrition of the expanded oil and soybean meal have been improved about 3%. There are several advantages of cooking with expansion way. First is it can quickly raise processing temperature. And second is 40 to 60% starch generalization rate. Here we can see, we summarize the best processing technology. The first is appropriate treatment of raw material, extrusion of soybean, expansion and condition of corn and soybean meal. And the second step is mixed with heat-sensitive materials. So this is the processing chart. This, according to this processing line, we can produce 180,000 tons per year. So we can divide this processing in 9 sectors. This kind of technical process has been operated in China. It investigates the large feed groups such as oat group and nut groups. The main equipment can be divided into 13 parts. We can summarize our advantage of the Zheng Chang, the patent the pocket feed technology, which can be divided into 6 parts. The crude feed for the piglet, we can see in the market there are many kinds of processing way, but we think the key process is how to moderate the condition. So crude feed formula is the first step of our processing. We should attach more attention to process technology and formulate the scientific feeding solutions. To improve crude feed intake amount is the primary task. So we should take the proper process so as to help improve the intake, the feed intake of piglet. Zheng Chang group capable of making scientific solution of formula, nutrition, and process technology. My time is limited, so I just talk about here. I warmly welcome you to visit Zheng Chang plant and to make a further discussion with our engineer. Thank you.